are not changed, it will never work. I think democracy will never work in a Muslim country. It cannot, because they think differently. They never think in a common way. They never think in a team, and not just the Muslims, also Arab world, and also the Africans have. A lot of non-Western societies have a problem to embrace democracy. For Arabic nations, or it's when you have power, then you use power. When you not use your power, then you are not powerful. But we in the West, we think in cooperation, working together, working in teams, win-win situation, and even serve one another. And all these concepts, there is not there in these Arabic nations, or let's say African nations. Often the idea is when you have power, then you use the power, otherwise you are stupid. And so I think we have to change first people before we can change the system. And this is what we learned about, that Christianity built up all our Western system that we have today in the world. And we will come to that later, to the history. So now I hope you understood that. The main thing is not you understand the difference between common law and civil law. It's very good that you take that. So, but the understand is we have to change first the people before we can change the system. And so we look now to the system to understand the values, because we have to create this right system and not can just put to morality, because we learned that the point is that when let's say we think just everybody should teach justice, and when we look to the government, blame them. But when you would be in this situation, then probably it would be not different. And we have to understand that democracy is made not because it's the best system, it's made because we are sinners. And this is our Western foundation of the society, or it's designed, this system is designed that if these four, you remember these four main pillars or main foundations for building up a good law?
Legislative?
No, the four.
A common law?
You need a common law, or there's a common law, and this was the Bible, who was over the people and not from the people, and therefore it was not that somebody was higher than others. But when it's from the people, then it's always from someone, not from others, and therefore cannot work. And then second one,
like third one, there was accountability.
Yeah.
/ responsibility.
The third one was then
responsibility and accountability.
Yeah, and the second one is was separation of power. The separation of power. I mean, it's the most important thing. When the power is not separated in a country, then it's never worked good. And so I always say, when you want to be corrupt in Switzerland, you have to be very smart. When you want to be corrupt in Africa, you don't have to be smart, because the system allowed people to be corrupt. And so we Swiss, we are not better because we have less corruption, or the Dutch, they are not better because they have less corruption. The system forbids them to be corrupt. And we learned about that. Separation of power. So separation of power, then the fourth one is
the same values, common values.
Yeah, we need principles and values and common, and we need like a law, and we have to know what is good and what is not good. And this is not just for political system, this is for our families, this is for our business, for ourselves. So actually politics is on every level of society, not just when we talk about politics. Good, it's a bit a summary of what we did. I hope you can follow our seminar guests. I mean, now we are more in the system, and later we will go more than also to history, but now we discover a bit more about the system. We heard about the civil and common law, and now we were in this in the understanding about right, left, conservative, liberal. And so I've turned now to the PowerPoint, and you can, with the mobile phone, you can scan this QR code. Here, this QR code. We talked yesterday about. Do we have it?
Did you share?
Yeah, I shared it, but it needs to be on the screen here.
No, didn't share. It's not
Share. I didn't.
You are not in, right?
I shared it. I'm not in.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's only 3 people.
I'm in the wrong one.
Okay.
Can you send me the invitation,
Yeah,
please?
in the group actually.
Huh?
Our WhatsApp group.
This is in which one?
Yes.
This is not working.
Wait, can you type the
No. Then it's not working again. Let's.
Click this one, next one.
Is it this one? Maybe?
Can you click next one? This one, next one.
Okay, I think now this one is.
Okay.
I was in the wrong Zoom meeting. No, it's okay. Yeah, okay. Do I have to right? Can you give me the right to share?
Are you in? Oh yeah.
But the phone is.
Yeah.
Ah, it was not. Maybe it was something else.
Okay. So you can now
Something was. But it was.
you can scan this QR code
And then.
and then you come to the homepage.
Okay. I know. So I left my phone.
Oh yeah, it's not a problem. We anyway.
So
It's
that's
just
fine.
I want to show you. It's just how does it work, the system. So we talked yesterday about it. I mean, when you don't have a mobile phone, that's not so tragic. But no, in the moment. So it's just to show you how does it function.
Okay.
So you should come then to the smart vote. Are you coming to the smart vote?
Yes.
Now I found out a mistake that actually you can turn it into English, but the questions are
Yeah,
still in
I
German.
know, I saw that.
You saw that?
I tried it, yeah.
So, but this is the system here in Switzerland. So when there is a voting, and there will be national voting this year, and this national voting is not yet here, so we take a state voting, but just to test it, then you can go and answer all the questions that the politicians also answer, and in the end you see which one would fit the best to you, to your opinion. So we had that yesterday, and then I told you that I can show you how exactly it works. So we will not go through every question because it's too. I think it takes too long time. We just let's do it again. I just because I have to translate the answers for you. So you are here now. Should I go as well on it? Then you see that you're here. You come to this one. Why is not coming here? It's not there. I put it here. Then you can see it.
See Canton de Zurich, Canton de
Yeah.
Genève.
Do you see that? No.
Yes.
Yeah, do you see that?
Yes.
You come here. So you take now the first one, this one here, for Canton Lucerne. But sorry, because I thought it could also be done in English, but it actually the questions are still in German.
Do we press the top one or the bottom one?
The top one.
It doesn't work on
It's and then here is voting 30. We take the one who has less questions. And so now you have questions that you have to answer. And you can then look to every politician how he answered the question. And he also gives sometimes justification why he is voting like this or so. But here you say, we take it now the first question, and in my mobile phone, I have the ability to translate that. I don't know if you have that too. Also, should supplementary benefits for low-income family be introduced in the canton of Lucerne? Do you understand the question? So what would you say? Now, yes, rather no, or no? Yes? But what is the consequence of say yes?
Well, they have to provide it somehow, so they're about to hire the taxes or something.
Yeah, so somehow the money has to come from somehow. So when you do that, then you have to raise the taxes to come. Do you see the conflict a bit?
Yeah.
But this is, so let's say we take one, so we can do all these questions. We can take another one. Should we take another question? Can you also translate that in your mobile phone?
No,
No.
I tried.
Manually, it's
Also, the next question is, should extra family children care be more accounted for all residents of the canton of Lucerne? Also, that means should should the family receive money for bringing the kids in the child care?
Okay, it's like child support.
Yeah, okay. So because bringing children to child care costs money, and a lot of family cannot pay that. So should the state pay this family money that they can bring the children in state care? So what is your opinion? Yes, no, perhaps rather yes, rather no. What would you say?
The first response is rather no, maybe, because people bring their children to childcare because they are working, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they work for the childcare, and if they not work, they cannot afford the childcare, but they are at home, so they can take care of the children.
That's
Very simplistic.
That's a very big argument. So now let's say I'm from the left party. I would say to you, no, but there are a lot of singles who have children who have to work. They need to work, but they have not enough money, and so we need to support them that they can bring the children to the daycare. Do you see the debate?
Yeah, I see.
So when you are from the right side, then you would say no. So say self-responsibility. We have to take care, and when your argument, then when you go to work, then you are able to pay it, and
or not. Depends on the job. Maybe depending on the income that the household has. Yeah.
But so the left party would argue like this, or self-responsibility. The left party would argue, no, the state should take care of them. But the one side is this: when the state takes care of everything, then people lose self-responsibility. People lose the ability of being creative or look for own solution, and they get dependent. And this is exactly what we did with Africa, or we gave them everything in Africa, and they become more dependent on us, and they never became adults, let's say like this. So we have to learn. I think, my opinion, you can be disagreeing with that, but my opinion is we have to teach the people to fish and not give them fish. But this is probably your difference. But this is what the politicals are debate is. Yes.
I think I would say yes, we can teach them how to fish, but you still need a fish stick and the things.
Yeah.
So I would say there is a process, the person where they are, there is need for help, and then there is time that they help themselves.
Yeah. I mean, you need always in the beginning an investment,
Yeah.
of course. But the question for me is always, does it lead to self-responsibility and independency, or does it lead to dependency and not taking self-responsibility? And we should not help there when it's lead to this side. But do you see that debate in a political system? So it's not so easy. It's not just to say yes or no. It has a lot of issue. So do you want to know a joke? Or should I tell you a joke?
Sure.
About Donald Trump.
Sure.
No, it's a joke, or it's Obama and Donald Trump. So Donald Trump is going home to Obama. And then Obama's son came. And he said, no, Donald Trump said and to Obama's son, so what do you want to become when you get older, like your dad and so on? And they say, I want to become the president of America. And Trump said, wow, that's good. Yeah, that's a good plan. So, so what do you do when you will be president in America? So then I said, I will collect all the money from the rich people and give it to the poor. And then Trump was looking to him and said, wow, that's a good plan. But why do you not start today? You can start today. Why you are not doing it today? And they say, yeah, how can I do it? And they say, okay, you can instead of going to the street and giving the people the money, you can invite them to your house. They can clean your house, they mark the house and all, wash the car, and you pay them, and then they have money, and then don't need the money from the state. Let's why you not do why you don't do that? And this is so bit the conflict, or I mean we have wishes, but actually in our life we don't do it. Do you see the point? This is I mean, when you give just the money, yeah, I think you make really them independent, and this is one of the biggest things. So Jesus Christ made us independent and not dependent more, and He died on the cross to make us free from the sin. And I think that's the general thought. We need to help the people that they can become independent. But I tell you, that's a big debate. Do you want another question? Should you take another question?
Yeah.
So this one I need translation. Do we have a network problem? So also, it's not working.
Low, but it's okay.
Okay, now it's good. I think it was network somehow. Okay, should people who care for relatives, adults with helplessness, allowance, receive financial support?
Say it again?
Also, that people who take care of their elderly people, that they don't have to go to the elderly home, should we support them financially? Yes. Other opinion?
As long as you can prove the disability or prove, that this person is incapable of doing things themselves,
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
But I think, yeah,
Is that regulation?
it's always still debate, or is misusing of the system then, or, but I think in general it's a good idea. I mean, our health system is really overloaded, and it's good when they can stay at home, and that family who take care of them, family members who take care of them, that they receive some support. So I would say this is a good idea. It's need to not sending them to the old folks home, need them that they can stay at home, and at home they are more independent, can do things, have a relationship. So, but these are the questions, and the most of the questions that politicians are dealing is for questions like this. Do you want to take another one? So, yeah. So we can take another one from another chapter. Okay, this question: should children who have a disability be integrated in normal classes or have extra classes? What do you think?
So is it asking if they're gonna have extra classes like tutoring outside of school too? Or you say different school for the classes?
Yeah, also we have two classes that we say we integrate them in normal classes, disabled people, like mentally disabled or so, or should we have extra classes for them that they are not in the same class? So what do you think? What should we
It's
do?
really depending on the severity of the disability. If people are, I mean, I worked with handicapped people, and some are really like, yeah, you cannot put them in a normal class. And also, yeah. So I think it's a good idea to have special classes. But I mean, if it's just a physical disability, of course they should, be
I don't know,
integrated.
in physical it's not so a problem, but here is more the mental or the psychological problem. It's more the thing. So, or also, I mean, there are some people who are not able, like they not, the behavior is not right or so. It's also a question, and then the same is also the question of people who cannot speak the language, all of this. But see, these are questions, and what politicians are doing is debate about these questions. It's about taking care of people. And it's
In a
about
good
people.
country, of course, but
Let's say in Holland and Switzerland.
Holland, no.
No.
Holland, no.
At
At the moment,
I don't know, so
no.
but
Holland-
this is, I'm also a politician. Also, this is what we debate about. And this is all the debates going about that. So is it better to go in this way? Is it better to go in this way? And so, and I think it's a high,
To weigh the consequences of
yeah.
what decision you make.
But I think you are negative about your country. I don't
Oh,
think
yes.
it's so negative, but I don't know. I don't know.
There's a
Honestly,
controlled system. It's a controlled
Yeah.
system, yeah. So when the government has the control about giving money or not, that's in Holland not a good idea.
Also, okay, now it's just I show you what actually in Switzerland.
That's better.
In Switzerland. So we have that, or you answer now all the questions, so we can probably take another one. So it's here. Do we have a tax system who is individual for every person, or when you are married, your income is putting together and you have only one tax declaration? So what do you think? What should you vote?
I mean, together.
Together. So should I explain to you what is the
So
problem?
it's like a household tax versus two
Yeah.
individual taxes.
Yeah.
I think household.
Let's say from a biblical Christian view, what would you do? Why?
Because the two become one, so you're under the same lordship of Jesus, so therefore everything should be shared together.
But I think because what kind of taxes? Because if you have income taxes, I mean, if both parents or both husband and wife, they both work, they both have income, they both have income tax. So I think that's separate. But if you talk about the other taxes, like the property tax, or that could be together, or the household tax.
That's good. I mean, it's a big debate. So the liberal parties would say what? What would they want?
Individual.
Anyway, well, why? because liberal, everybody should be liberal.
Equal.
And so, I mean, we have now marriage for all, we have marriage for no, we have marriage for whatever. I mean, everybody is looked individual. We are all individual in a state, and what the liberal are doing is more all individual. There is no more collaboration, no more unity, and especially in family, they want to separate everything, or inheritance law, the income, everything should be separated. And so I think your argument was very good. I think really, no, we are a community, we committed to one another, and it should be together. But there is another challenge. And the challenge is when you have a higher income, then you pay percentage more.
I was going to ask where the tax brackets are.
No,
That's also relevant.
And this is a problem. So when we put the income together, then they pay together more taxes than when they would do it individual.
Exactly.
So and now, this is a biblical Christian view. This is a more say that's unfair. And actually, why should married couple pay more than others? And then why do you marry? Do you see? That's a conflict.
It would have to be adjusted. If it was like family household and all the tax brackets, it would have to be adjusted somehow accordingly. Like you can't have like half and half and half and half. Like it has to be one.
Yeah.
Adjusting the tax brackets accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, we can turn there's a lot of things, but this is the debate. And so this is, yeah.
And I fully understand what the problem is, because if a married couple had a joint bank account and you're both contributing to it with your salaries and things like that, I don't understand what the problem would be if you would pay the same amount.
No, but when you say, also when not only one has a job, then there's not a problem. But they do have a job, and the income from 10,000 and 5,000, it's coming as 15,000. So the percentage on the taxes is more by 15,000 than by 10,000. So by 10,000 you pay, let's say, 2%, and by 50,000 you pay 2.5%. So they pay more because it's together. But this is all. So the biblical Christian worldview is contradicting more the economical view, and then what should we stand for? Because we want to support families, and so yeah. Okay, but is it interesting? Is it interesting? Should we take another one? So we can take. So it's interesting for you. It's interesting for you. So in every canton here in Switzerland, we don't have the same tax. So here in Canton Bern, we pay a lot of tax. So it would be better. I live in Canton Fribourg, who is just 10 kilometers away from here. Then I pay probably half tax.
Really?
You know, it's that every
big difference?
Yeah. And so that's a big difference. And even in every community. So in community of Seedorf, I pay more taxes than my friend who is living 10 kilometers in this community. He pays 3 times less taxes, percent tax, only because he lives in another country.
Okay.
So every community has different systems. So is it good or is it bad? What do we say?
Well, if the rate of canton is taxed differently, you want to work in the place that has less taxes because you earn more money therefore.
Yeah. But is it good or is it? What would you say? Should we regulate that, or should no?
I don't think it's good that each canton has different amounts of taxes. I think there should be one that the government does for everybody, because that's more efficient.
But the government is not. If Samuel explained to us, the most money is going to the canton and not to the state. So the state cannot decide that, and because the canton is deciding that, therefore we have differences. But it's not centralized. It's federalistic, and also every community can decide their own tax system.
Is it transparent what each canton is spending the taxes on?
Yeah. You can see, you can Google in the internet, you find everything. And also you can come with me to the community and then you see the whole budget and I mean, that's absolutely.
And how it's used, yeah.
No, it's
What
clear.
they do with the money.
But so the problem is now this in this question. The problem is not Switzerland. We accept that it's okay for us, but not for Europe. And this is now they want to force us that we change our system. And because Europe want all centralized, everybody should be the same.
Bad idea.
And we say no, we don't want it. A Swiss
Keep that
system,
way.
we want to
Keep
be
that way.
So what do you vote here now? Should we say we do that? We go under the law of the UN, also the UN, not the UN, the EU or the OECD. It's the OECD, with the Organization for Cooperation and Integration. The OECD is the name. So what would you say, yes or no?
I also would say no.
But do you see, in the end, these are questions that we deal in the parliament with. And in the end, you will then receive this, like I said it to you, I said it to you, we saw that yesterday. Just finish it, huh?
Do you know, because every quarter there's like the new things that the citizens vote on. Do you know what the voting is for the next one?
Yeah.
And then we vote for your party.
Do you want to know that?
I mean, just while you're doing this.
I know it.
What is it?
So it's not, I know it, but I have to research it because it's not online at the moment. So, but I know it from the party, but it's not an official for everybody at the moment. But just to, how long? Yeah. Now I'm almost finished. So if you do that, so okay.
And then you see the party you need to vote for.
Yeah, also now the internet is out again, no? Why can I not? Why can I not? Yeah. Anyway, okay. I mean, this is. I just want to show you. We can go back to this one. And in the end, you see this, or in the end you see this. What is your profile? And I explained you all the lines yesterday already, and who would fit the best to you, and you can vote then for this person. So something like this. So everybody who is in the election will do that, and the citizens will look and debate and find out what is the best person that fits me. So that's transparency. Yeah. So we have different parties, and probably Shane or China has only one party. America has how many? 2. And the Dutch have one. They have many, or?
A lot, yeah. For democracy.
I mean, a lot of countries like Malawi has more party system, and Nigeria, and so on and so on. India has a more party system. You have several parties, mainly 2. So we in Switzerland we have also several parties, but we have four big parties. In the sense, in the moment, it's a bit tricky because some lose votes and some win, and it's not more clear who are the 4. But we have in our government, we have 7. We have a team. We have not one president. We have a team of 7, and they are coming from the left biggest party, from the right biggest party, and from the 2 middle biggest party. So in the end, they are from all the parties, and we have no opposition in Switzerland because everybody is involved in the government, or is the president, let's say. They have all equal rights. No. Also, we have a president who presents the country but we change every year. But in every debate, they all together have to come to a conclusion. He cannot make a contract out of that or something. So we debate together. So
Sounds good.
I told you this already. You heard Samuel talking about that, and yeah, I have a booklet for you as well. Then I will give it to you with our Swiss system that you can probably have a look there. But because the others cannot have that, I will not give it out yet. We took 500 books. We ordered 500 books, and want to ship them to Malawi. But they didn't ship it to Malawi, so we took it by ourselves. And we gave to every parliamentarian in the whole country, we gave a booklet and so on. But just and talked with them about this system and so on. Yeah, exactly. And as well, we gave them a booklet about the Reformation tour for all of them. Good, but I think the system is really important, that we as Christians understand as well the system and not just put to morality and say this is wrong, this is wrong. So if you have too much power, you would misuse the power as well. So the best way is that you build a system that people cannot have too much power. This would function the best. But we are losing this system more here in the West. And people want to have a strong leader, they want to have somebody who is deciding, and we are no more believing in this democracy. And I think the problem is we lose God, and when you lose God, you lose the truth, and there is nothing anymore over them. And in the end, when there is nothing there over us, then who is winning? The strongest will survive. And so we are then. We don't believe one another anymore. We don't trust one another anymore, because in a system where the strong will survive, it's really tricky, and it will become more complex and more complex. We see that in Africa, or even in Malawi. I sorry to say that I don't know what you think about Lazarus, your president. He started very well, let's say like this. But then he was in position, then it became tricky as well. That's the problem of a system. When you have a system of corruption, then everybody gets corrupt when you are in the system. Because of the system, not because the people are bad. So we as Christians have to build up a justice system that this cannot happen. And so I hope we pray for Lazarus, and especially in this time in Malawi, there was a lot of flood, probably you heard that. And thousands of houses disappear and thousands of people die and so on. And I mean, it's a crucial time, and this time it's not good to point to the president or so on. They need something else, but I think and this is what we want to bring to Malawi, we want to help them to establish a better system.
Please come to Holland.
So we have an institute, and we do that, and we want to do that in more than one country. No, but I think we as Christians have to understand that, and we have to, as Christians, have to stand up, be active in it, and do something. When we're not doing it, then we don't have to be surprised. Why we have a dictatorship now? Yeah, well, that's the point. Don't be surprised. When the truth is gone, Francis Schaeffer said there are only three options. Either you have anarchy, but the anarchy never can survive. Then you come to a dictatorship. Because when anarchy cannot survive, you have chaos and somebody's coming and give order. But it give order and become more, and then it becomes a dictatorship. And the third way is to have something over people, where the people can orient to, and this was the Bible in the Reformation time, that you could stood up and say it's wrong what you are doing. And also Holland, I mean, Reformation came from Switzerland to Holland, and William William Orion, no, Orion, or how do you say? William from Orion. Or,
Willem
van Oranje. Willem van Oranje.
William of Orange.
Yeah,
Orange, whatever. But then he became king of England, and I mean, this was all this success story from the Bible. And people who had the Bible in their hands stood up and say, "You cannot do whatever you want. There's an absolute law, and we have to submit to the law."
That's history for Holland.
That's history. So, but we can bring it back, okay?
Yes.
I mean, in the Reformation time, the problem was in the Reformation, it was not better. The Catholic Church was very corrupt, or you had to pay for your salvation. The indulgence, and I mean the corruption. They lived in luxury, but most of the people in Europe were poor. And it was a horrible situation. Geneva was the ugliest place in Europe. Nobody wants to come to Geneva. But Geneva changed in one generation. Because, I mean, the Bible came in, and the Bible became the source, and the people received hope and became free to do business. So the book of Max Weber, probably you know that, Max Weber, a famous economist, he wrote a book about that. He's not a Christian, but he studied why Europe became rich in the Reformation time. And he ended up, it was the preaching of John Calvin in Geneva.
Wow.
And we already heard about the capitalism and all of that. But it was the Christians who built up the society, our Western society. And so when we are giving up, we will not become better. Science will not. There's only two ways. We give up, think we go up to heaven. So this theology, what I'm saying, is absolute heresy. And should just go. We give up, the world will burn up, I guess, anyway, and we will go to heaven. So don't care about that. Just take the best out of it. No, I don't believe in that. I think really that's so wrong teaching. So, but the other way is really we intervene and do something. And we can change it. And it's not worse than in the Reformation time, I tell you. We are probably much better, in a better situation. Then, but when we let it go, then we will end in North Korea, I would say. Because this was this great Christian nation 50 years ago, and now look to it. When we not intervene, then we leave it up to the devil. So that God will never leave his creation to the devil. And therefore also we, as his junior partner, don't leave his creation and his world to the devil. Good. I mean, we have different parties, and Social Democrats, just explain a bit. So Social Democrats, so what do they want?
More social programs.
More social programs. So in America, who would it be? The Social Democrats.
Bernie.
So which party are the Social Democrats in America? Or which one? Is Biden Social Democrat, or is it?
We only have two parties.
Huh?
I didn't think it was.
Is Biden what?
Liberal Democrat.
It's liberal.
Liberal Democrat. It's very centrist.
No, Biden is from the Social Democrats.
So he's the social.
Yeah, and then the Republicans
A definition.
would be who in America?
Republicans.
Yeah, Donald Trump, or it would be this side. So actually, America has only these two parties fighting again. So liberal is the horizontal division, liberal and conservative. So and therefore it's not you can be as a Social Democrats liberal and social, and or you can be social and conservative. So it would be. But anyway, they have only two parties, and these two parties, they fight together, and it's interesting. I mean, then Donald Trump is there, and he is doing all in this way, and then Biden is coming and doing all in the other same way. And so the country is always going like this. and I think it's not a good system. It's better in Switzerland because we go together slowly. We not turn fast. This is what always the people complain, because it took a long time before we can do a decision. Switzerland is very long, but probably it's better. So if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go long, go together. Or go.
To go far.
Yeah, exactly.
Far goes
Sorry.
together.
But then the Social Democrats, they are coming out of socialism. I mean, the stream of socialism, Karl Marx and so on. But my communists, the next party, they are really coming from them. But the communists, they want to have a revolution, they want to have this. And the Social Democrats, they want to have the same transition, but in a legal way. Or they want to change the law that we adopt that. But they have actually more or less the same agenda. But the communists say for a revolution, we stand there. And you know, Karl Marx, he promoted that you kill all others who don't believe in socialism and so on. But actually they are the same field. Then the Maoists, they actually also under I know India has a Maoist, or you have a party, Maoist party. So they are actually also the communists, but Mao, you know Mao? Mao is from where? China, yeah. So it's more the Chinese communism, but actually it's the same. So then you have the liberal Democrats. They want to have free market, or they want to have no limitation, and so they can do what they want. And it's also let's go on free sex and gender issues and marriage for all. They are mostly on this side, and they are a lot of capitalists in it, or they want to earn more and more and more and more. And so on. Good. Then we have the Worker Party, and they also belong more to the Social Democrats. But in some countries, they are the Workers' Party. I really want to look for the workers, for the people who are working hard and don't earn a lot. Then we have the Christian parties. I know that Holland has also a Christian party.
That's true.
I don't know if India has a Christian party.
Not yet.
Not yet? And Canada? No. I know that Malawi has only Christian party. It's very interesting. Or I think I'm right, or because Christianity is so common, everybody is a Christian. Okay, of course, not everywhere where Jesus on the t-shirt, Jesus is inside. But let's say like this. But I was so surprised. We went to the government and they prayed before they start. And in the government, there was a big entry. There were several bookstores there, little bookstores. All of them had Bibles on it. Only the Bible and scripture about the Bible. It's fully there. But I always say, Malawi has God, but has not the principle. And we have the principle, but no God. So this is a bit. So actually we can learn from one another. But the Christian party try to influence from a biblical Christian view then the political environment. So I'm in a Christian party here in Switzerland, and so what we try is really to bring Christianity again in. And my Christian party, sometimes I say it's theological wise, they have a better up to heaven theology. But I think I was on Tuesday, I was on a meeting and so, and then I think it's really good. The MPs, there were 3 MPs were there to speak, and so it's really great because they stand for their Christianity in public. So we can also have Christians in other parties, but they not mainly have to stand for it. But here in a Christian party, and they really do it, and then even I probably not really fully would agree with them, but they stand to the Christianity and give an explanation why they are Christians go to politics, and this I think is really fascinating. Good. Green parties, you know green parties? Do you have green parties in your country? So what do they do?
Environment.
Yeah, right. Also, this is the latest party came in the 70s, or taking care of environment, and of course that's something that we probably not took care too much on it. And like in Switzerland, before the 70s, it was not allowed to swim in a river. But then politics came in and said, we have to clean every river now. And now we have in every city, we were in a water treatment station, we saw that. So in every village or every community have the obligation that the water has the same quality before and after. So they have to clean the water again. And so we can do that. But before the 70s, nobody thought about that. And then it needs a political intervention that something can change. And I think we stand on the same thing today. But the problem with the Green Party is that they mostly very against Christianity. They have Mother Earth, or they go into Mother Earth is now, we have to save Mother Earth. And it makes it very complicated for Christians to be in a Green Party. So we were in the government building. Then I had a meeting because on this day, official, somebody from the Green Party joined our party. He switched. Do you remember? I had a meeting with him then. He changed. And this is funny because the Green is really the opposite of what we are doing. But he said, I convert as a Christian, and now I observe that this is not fitting together. I cannot be anymore in this part. But this is a huge step. It's from really 180% going the other direction. But it's really good. So Green Party, I would not say they're absolutely wrong, but often they are really against Christianity, and they taking care for everything in the environment, but not for babies or abortion or something. They want a full abortion until birth abortion and all of these things. And then you have to think, in the end, an animal has more right than a human. And can it be like this? I think then you misunderstood something. So the next one is the Green Liberal Party. So we had a split in Switzerland because the Green Party, they want to save environment and don't want to make more business and more industry, always less. So the Liberal Party, they want to make green, but also want to make more business. So, but they are also they are not so friendly for Christianity. They have laws also when it's go to, as I gender issues, they always extremely on this side. And they also, capitalists, a lot of capitalism want to make more money, but taking care of the poor, or taking care of the people, that's not, and also the immigrants are also about that. And so I would say they probably the most far away from from Christianity. But then we have also in Switzerland a car party. They for the car. And so you probably have special parties as well in your country. Yeah, they are car for car. They want to make sure that they build enough streets.
Are they for cars or against cars?
No, they're for.
Okay.
But now we have against COVID, and now several parties appeared in the last year as well. But the car party is no more important because in the moment they don't have a lot to say, because the whole view goes the other direction, or we have too much car and too much CO2 and all of that and so on. But anyway, it's fun. And one thing is also fun that 2 years ago, we have direct democracy. And 2 years ago, a farmer had a problem. And you know that. Or the problem was with the cows. And he said, no, in Switzerland, the cows need horns.
Yeah.
So you cannot cut the horns down from cows because when you cut the horns down, it's because it's easier to handle the cows. Otherwise, they hurt one another. You need more space, and so it's easier to handle a cow than to cut the horn. So a lot of farmers cut the horn of the cow.
Terrible.
So now somebody came, a farmer came, and he made an initiative about Swiss cows need horns. And then whole Switzerland, we voted.
So you have an animal party.
Huh?
An animal party.
No, I mean, no, we don't have that yet. But you don't need a party to start a referendum or anything.
Okay.
So, but anyway, you have to win. You have to win the party. So, but it's somehow the whole world laughed about Switzerland that we vote for cows.
Yeah.
For, so again, so is this the most important issue?
Yeah.
You have to know voting that costs a lot of money. So we have probably, I don't know, 2 million, 3 million voters in Switzerland. Everybody received the whole documentation at home. Then you have to deliver with the post and mail and all. And this costs, everything costs, or think about 3 million or even more. And then they send all the voting paper, you go to vote, and they have to select it, the number. It's a big thing. It costs few millions.
What was the result?
10 million. No, it was, but it was tiny. It was, I think, it was 45 to 55% or something.
And which one?
It is as it is today.
Which
It didn't
is-
want, so it's allowed to cut the horns.
It's allowed.
Okay, you're free to do it.
Yeah.
to-
So actually, it was not about is it allowed or not, but when you do it, then you don't receive money from the government for taking care of environment, and when you not do it, then you receive it. So we not forbid direct, we not forbid indirect,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
you with the money you can read everything, or
Yeah.
if you give
Oh,
money, they do
yeah.
that, and you not give that. Good.
I saw that one of people from India raise their hand.
Yeah, please. From India, do you have a question?
Oh, must be.
So let's do a little break, but before the break, just, I mean, we talked about the Constitution, and we looked to the Constitution, to several laws in the Constitution, but a Constitution gives values, but then for really the regulation, we need laws. And you see here, we have all the laws. Here we have 20 laws in Switzerland, 20 law books. Also we have the labor law, or let's say the vouch law and the civil code. The regulations between people who have a conflict, private conflict. So in every country you have laws. So you have to know, generally, that every country needs a constitution. And the constitution is what we learned here is the 10 commandments in the Bible. So the values. But then it say you should not kill. And the question is what is happening when you kill somebody? Or let's say somebody gets killed and not, it was an accident. So what does it mean? And so you need this regulation. This regulation are the applied laws in the Old Testament, in Deuteronomy. So we observed out, we did a study about that and researched that, find out what is constitution and what does it apply to. And so this idea came then also in our society, so that we have a constitution, it is absolute law, but then it has to be regulated in practically. What does it mean practically? You cannot just say the death penalty is forbidden, or say everybody has right of life, the death penalty is forbidden. So what happens when somebody gets killed in accident? Is this taking their life, or see? So therefore you need all the law books. So, and you can watch, look in your country, how many law books do you have to that, and you see that it is a lot. But I think Switzerland will not have a lot. I heard that the EU, even EU is not a country, but they have 40,000 laws.
Okay.
And so I want to find this guy who really understands all the laws. This is the problem, or it gets so complex that we do not understand it anymore. And because it's so complex, then only the people who look smart, we think they understand it, even they do not. But only them, and these are the lawyers, then they find out and read, and in the end, it's no more about protecting people or helping people, it's just law, it's just administration. And I think that's really another factor that we can look to, how many laws we have. And we have too much law, then people say you don't have the fear of God anymore in a country. Because when the fear of God is no more there, we need laws and laws and laws and laws. And when you have a laws, then you have to make a law to protect the law or give the extras. So. Good. We do a break. Is it good for how long?
We take break 5 minutes break.
Yeah.
Let's take 5 minutes.
And then we will come to
Yeah.
And so please, you can also come then back with your questions and so on.
Okay, guys, welcome back. So I hope you enjoyed the 5 minutes break. Let's start the lecture. Markus, microphone is yours.
Yeah, probably you can say something. What spoke all or came up from what I said? What was really interesting or important? Probably somebody from Malawi. Then you can say what was really important for you. So as well from India, Kachin, Ibadan. Yes, please. Come on.
I'm Markus from Malawi.
Yes, good.
Of course, some other things we did not follow probably because it was in German, but we knew that we were tackling civil and common laws, and we went further to show us the types of parties, for example, which exist in the world, like the Maoist party in China, the Green parties, and the like. And you ended up with the giving us a list of laws within the laws. For example, I saw road traffic laws. I saw different types of laws, about 25 or so at the end. So at least that's what we are following, and I know we are continuing from there. From the last exposition, the 25 or so laws, the acts.
Can I ask the question to you? Do you have, also I think you don't have, but do you have a Green Party in Malawi?
What party?
A Green Party. No, I would not know it, but I think you have not. Green Party. Yeah. But thank you for the feedback. Thank you.
We don't even have a petition party.
And so in India, do you have a Green Party there?
Maybe activists, but not a party.
Not a party.
Not as a party.
Yeah.
Activists.
Yeah, and in Nigeria, do you have a Green Party? But that's interesting to ask this question, huh? Because here green is in the moment that thing, or it's going on, but it's not so in Africa and Asia, and especially in Africa. But in Ibadan, do you have a Green Party in Nigeria?
Yes, we don't have a green party in Nigeria. The party that we have is the PDP and the APC. Those are the two major parties in Nigeria.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, the green, but the green movement is really something that's coming from the West. Not say it's necessarily bad, but it didn't reach Africa. So, but Africa, I think that one big theme would be the environment care for the next century as well. Good, let's go on. Let's go on. See a bit more to receive more understanding of political system. Yeah, there are monarchies, or there is an absolute monarchy. So where is an absolute monarchy? Do you know a country who has an absolute monarchy?
South Korea.
No.
Saudi Arabia.
Or do you mean North Korea? But North Korea it's a Democratic People Republic of Korea. North Korea is called Democratic People Republic of Korea. I mean, it has nothing to do with democracy and people republic, but actually, what is an absolute monarchy? What is really this is still a monarchy?
Like a king, like a queen, that is still like a royal family versus its power.
Yeah, but where is it?
Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah, Saudi Arabia or Morocco. So, but there are not a lot of countries, only a few who has absolute monarchy. That means the monarch is really the one who do the law, who do everything, and this or the family or whatever. So then is a constitutional monarchy. What is it? England? Yeah, exactly. And it's also called the parliamentarian monarchy. So sometimes it's either or. But when a constitutional monarchy means they have a constitution, so the monarch has to apply in the constitution. So England is more a parliamentarian monarchy because they have a parliament, and so the parliament is deciding. And so, but actually, the monarchy they are not so common. Holland has a monarchy, or you have a parliamentarian monarchy or a constitution?
Yeah, we have a parliamentarian.
Yeah,
okay. Parliament.
But
it has not much to say.
But these are the three systems in the world about monarchies. Then we have republics. Also, we have a presidential republic, and this is which country? That means that's really a rhetorical question. But yeah, it says that the president has the power at all, so there is no separation in that. And most of the country they are not functioning like this. But also in Africa they have sometimes or often they have a presidential republic. So we see the difference when we go to a semi-presidential republic. Or let's go to a parliamentarian republic first. So that means that there is a separation of powers. So in Germany, you have the Bundeskanzler, you have the Chancellor, and you have the president, the president of the country. So there is a separation of power, like it's actually like in a parliamentarian monarchy. So you have the monarch and you have the prime minister. So the prime minister is for the whole regulation and is the boss there, but for the represented, the king represents the country. So there's a separation of power. And this is also in Germany actually the same. So you have the chancellor and you have the president. And the president is representing the country, but he is not involved in law. But there are certain rights that he can kick out the president, kick out the chancellor. Also, in some countries there are special law. What is the obligation or what is the right for one of them? But the semi-presidential republic, that's actually only France, who have something between, that the president has not that much power. But you can then figure out by yourself, and one of the last is the direct democracy that Switzerland has. And that means we voting 4 times a year. We have the right to vote, and when we are against the parliament, then we can say no, and then it's voting, and the last word, we have the last word, and not the parliament. And also we can change the constitution. Only we can change the constitution, not the parliament, only the people. We have, when somebody wants to change something, there will be a voting, and then the majority will win. Yes.
So I didn't quite understand what a parliamentary republic was.
So they have a parliament, or they have parliament, but mainly there is a separation of power. So that they have a parliament is also they have a parliament in the US. But in Germany, who is voting for the chancellor? I mean, these are things that you can find out. It's very interesting who is responsible for that. But normally in a parliamentary republic, the parliament is voting for the chancellor and not the people. So then it's not always the case, but in most is the case. So that means, I mean, Switzerland, we also have this system, or the parliament is voting for the chancellors, not the people. And therefore, the council had not to do advertising in the whole country and spread flyer and spend millions of dollars and have spent all the time. So actually, it's, and therefore it's a good system. In France, there is direct, or the people will vote for the president in France. Yes.
Interesting. But what is the difference between a prime minister and president?
Yeah, prime minister came out. Actually, there is not big difference. But prime minister is coming really from the Bible. The prime minister, the first servant, is Jesus, and so therefore should no more call the ruler. Now it's called the first servant. We already talked about that. So the president is the one who presents the country in the way, but actually in the functions, they have both the same. I mean, in every country. So America, I would say, has the most power. The president has the most power in America. Not on Germany, not on France, and of course not in Switzerland. Yeah. So actually, it came also through history. I mean, the first constitution had not that much power in the presidency, but Abraham Lincoln, everybody like Abraham Lincoln, I know, but he changed the system and centralized the whole system as well. From a federal, it was very federalistic state, America, but after him it became more decentralized in the power. Good. Here we have an example. This one is from the US. And this is what, in this, I will send you then the assignment, and then you have to find it out by yourself. So the question is, we have 3 powers. So can you mention the powers? Who are the 3 powers in a system? Judiciary,
Executive, legislative.
So what is the executive doing?
Execute the law that's made by the
by the legislature. And the judiciary is
justice.
They make it.
Also, they say it's right or wrong. Also, when there is a conflict, you go to the judge. And now you see that here. So in the US, what is the legislative? Here,
Are they the lawmakers? I forget exactly.
Also, you see where is the legislative in the US? Also, here is legislative has this color.
In the Supreme Court.
Also, yeah, the Congress is the legislative. Why? They make actually the law. Actually, because we heard about the common law or the conflict with this common law system. but let's say make it not too complicated. Also, in this is then they have two chambers, the House of Representatives and the House of Senates. So the House of Senates is what? What do they represent?
The House of Representatives?
No, they're the House of Senates.
Senate?
They represent the states. How many states America? 51, no? 50 or 50? 50. So they have 50 senates, or if do they have
Senators.
senators? They have 50 senators. I hope, or probably all in Switzerland we have from every canton 2, not just 1.
It says down there, each state is represented with 2 senators.
2, yeah, they have 2, not 1. So they have how many senators America have?
Yeah.
100, yeah. So then the House of Representatives is what?
Isn't that every, is it county? Every county in the states says representative?
Yeah, but they represent the people.
Yeah.
And when California has that much, and what is small Ohio? I think Ohio has probably 20 times less people than, so they have 20 times less seats in this So this is mainly everywhere in so do you have 1 chamber parliament or 2 chambers? That's actually the difference. But I think it's better to have 2 than you have the representative 1. So, and also the vice president is sitting and in the parliament. So, and you see the election that the people elect. Also, this is the chosen people. Somehow it's complicated in America, but they choose some who choose them. But actually, the people choose the parliament, or in America. And also, then you see what is the executive. So, what's the executive? Who is it?
The president and also the Senate.
The president.
The vice president.
Oh no, I'm
The
wrong.
president.
Vice president.
I'm wrong.
The vice president. Yes.
Cabinet.
The cabinet.
Forces.
So the armed forces is the one military force who apply what they decide in the Congress, and the executive office is the administration,
And the governors.
and the cabinet are
Down
the governors are on the state
there. The
level.
locals, yeah.
And then the cabinet is who? They are the
Senators.
no, the cabinet are the ministers. No, the different ministers. So, yeah, and then the third part is the judiciary branch. You see, what is it in America?
Supreme Court and State Court.
The Supreme Court, yes.
Just the Supreme Court and State
Yeah,
Court.
the Supreme. So they have only on the national level. They have only 1 court, or the Supreme. So we have different ones, but yeah. So this is the system, and you see the president also get elected directly through the electors, but actually get elected from people. And also then you see the state level. Do you see that state or federal state? Yeah. Or then you have the same, the executive is what?
Governors.
Yeah, is voted from the people, and the legislative is, yeah, the legislative is the state legislature. And then you have a state court, and here I don't know who is electing the state court. It's just coming from heaven, or I don't know. But this is, I think it's very interesting, and everybody of you should understand that from his country. So get the understanding what's going on, who is electing who, and who has actually the power in my country. That would be important. So let's take another one, the semi-parliamentary republic. Yeah. Also, you see the citizens vote direct the president.
Sorry, where are we?
Also the president, the dark, do we not have?
Okay, I understand.
So the dark blue is again the executive. Also you see that is the president, and the president is electing designate the Prime Minister and the ministers.
So, and the Prime Minister chooses the ministers, or
Yeah,
appoints them.
the Prime Minister chooses, so he actually votes for Jesus. No.
So by voting for the president, they're voting for the Prime Minister and the ministries, therefore, as well.
Also, say it again.
Because the president appoints
Yeah.
the Prime Minister and the ministers, so therefore, if whichever president you're voting for, you're also voting for the Prime Minister and.
Yeah, direct, indirectly, yes. Yeah. So, and the government, this is called the governmental, and then you see the what is the legislative?
Yeah.
What is the legislative here?
Parliament, right? Parliament making the National Assembly and the Senate.
Yeah, the National Assembly and the Senate. So they have also two chambers there, representing of the departments. I think it's called in French departments, district. I don't know. And then the National Assembly. So that's the parliament, and then you see where is the judiciary? The conditional council. Yeah, is this, and they get elected by the parliament and
the president.
get appointed by the president. So, and in America, you saw that it's directly from the president, the Supreme Court. Or,
Yeah.
also, they have to say yes to it, approve, or they have to prove to parliament. But actually, the president is electing them. So that's the conflict now. Probably heard about the abortion law, because the judiciary, they are the judges. They are judges until they die. So these judges, they are actually coming from Donald Trump.
They choose directly from the president.
So these are the Republicans and not the Social Democrats or the Democrats. So and therefore, you see, in America, you cannot replace a judge.
For lifelong.
You have to kill them.
Yeah.
No, what did I say? No, hey, can you take it out of the recording?
Yeah.
But so then here, Russia. So who can explain to me Russia?
Yeah. This fully works.
Putin can explain.
Yeah.
Is this like the theoretical what it is, or like how it actually is?
I mean, the thing is, the system is one thing, but then how does it run? And I mean, it's running a lot of fear and manipulation, and
This is the theoretical how it
it's
works.
even in a democratic system or manipulation. The majority of the voters, I would say, they get manipulated through the advertising and through other things. And here in Russia, I mean, they get manipulated through a lot of other things. Fear, it's not free press, or they cannot say an opposite against the president. Yeah.
Do you know what state Duma is?
The Duma, yeah, the Duma is where do you see the Duma? Actually?
Federal Assembly.
Also the Duma is the parliament. Yeah, state. The Duma is the parliament. They have two chambers, the Duma and the Federal Council, Federation Council. And here also regional government. So see the color, what is the color? This is not red, what is it? Purple? No. Here you don't see it anyway, but this one, this is are the legislative. Yeah, and also in Russia, the president has a lot of power because he has a lot of manipulation, or he controls everything. That's the problem. It's not about that here. It's about his controlling. But you see, he can also elect the prime minister, the minister, and they have a lot. So according to also to the constitution, he has a lot of power. So Russia has a lot of power. Yeah, here that would be UK. You can see. Who can Catherine, can you explain to me?
Yes. So basically, the people are in charge through the House of Commons. So I really like the way that the UK works, because with the House of Commons and the House of Lords, there's a real it's an active, it's a live court session. So you have debates right there in the moment, and it's all things actually get done in those sessions theoretically. And so the people are in charge of appointing who the next prime minister is, which in turn alters the House of Commons with the Lords and those who are there making decisions and different things like that. So then the House of Commons and the House of Lords are actually, they're influenced by the King and Queen, the House of Lords, but not the House of Commons. So it's like you have the people's side and then the King and Queen's side, and they come together and they kind of have a collaboration of everything to make laws. So yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's good, this collaboration. You see the separation of power. Also, England is very good in that.
Yeah.
So we would say, okay, the Queen is representing the country, but he has an influence. He, no, he. No,
let's not get too liberal.
also the Charles is his name, I guess. Charles, he can intervene in several things. So actually, he has a lot of power in the end, but normally he don't use it or misuse it. Or I mean, it's more that they work together as collaboration. They work together, and so it's really good. So the House, and they have also two chambers, and the people they only vote for the House of Commons. So for me, Catherine, the question is, where is the House of Lords coming from? Heaven?
I wish. I actually don't understand what Lord spiritual means. Is that just?
Yeah, when you don't know it, who should know
No,
it from us? Yeah. I read it. I should know it, but I forgot.
It's from the King.
Yeah.
They're White House Lords.
As I mean, the House of Lords in general, they are elected from the lords who are lords in the country, and I don't know exactly how does it work. But I think the spiritual lords, they are directly from, no, I think from the Queen. I think more from the Queen. But this is something that you can research. I think it's very interesting to understand how these systems are working. When we really want to have influence, then I think often we as Christians have a lot of passion, but not a lot of understanding. And so this is not really helpful. And here Switzerland, this is now, I think Switzerland is really unique in almost in everything what we do. So you can see now we have this clear separation, and we are so strong on this separation. And when somebody is doing something that he not should do, then he has really a problem. And so it's also the executive. You can see that we have the 7 members of our team. We not have just one, and these are representing the ministers. So let's say actually we have no president. We have just ministers, and the ministers all have equal rights. And then they vote for a president, and he represents the country. But he don't have more to say than the others. So that's the executive, and then we have the legislative. We have the two chambers, like every country has, and they get voted then from the people, this parliament. And then we have the judiciary, and you see 4 courts. You see we have 4 courts. We have different courts, for different cases. So, and you can see that that the separation of power is very important in Switzerland. And we have also not just this power; we have also this horizontal, this vertical power separation. That means the federalistic, that the state has to say that, and then the nation, or let's say the community, then the state, and the nations. It's very strong. So, and we are very careful to hold this system. But in the EU, it's problematic with the system, because let's say the EU give a law, then everybody has to obey the law. But in Switzerland, people can stand up and say, no, we don't want the law. And then you have a problem. You have a conflict with the EU. You should take it because you're not in the EU, but you don't want it. And so we stand in a lot of conflicts would not be agree or not. That's not a harmony with the EU laws. Good. Yeah, what do you think about direct democracy? Not good. It just means in the end we are guilty. But I mean that's the question to you. So we can say, do you want to take responsibility? And then you are guilty. Then you are responsible. Then you are, and we don't want it. And I think as Christians, it's better to play keyboard in the church and sing some songs and say hallelujah than to take a responsibility. Because we are called to go in the world and bring a light. We are not called to happy clappy singing in the church. And often this is a problem. It's so here it's represented with this joke. I mean, yeah, we want to have freedom, we want to have this, but we don't want to be guilty. Or we often are afraid of taking this responsibility. And we have to stand out of that.
It's only pray, just work.
Work and pray. So labora et abora, or how do you say?
Elabora, elabora. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is really important for us as Christians, and it needs some standing up courage, but it also needs will take time for study, learning, because when we not understand the system in the world, then we don't have to say something to it. Yeah, another thing is this majority voting and proportional voting. Did you hear about that? So proportional voting.
Population.
Yeah, it's I mean it's also here in Switzerland we have that. So let's say for the parliament, you cannot vote. You cannot select signature for you. First, you need to you select signature for a party, and when the party had enough seats, then the party, the one who has the most seats in the party get the seat. So that means you can have enough votes, but you not receive a seat because the party has no seat.
Yeah.
So it's not that the stronger survive, and this is what Samuel Kuhlmann explained. This is really important, because when you have a system where the winner is taking all, then you have really a problem. Because all the others feel then, okay, I'm not represented here, and they go in the opposition. So it's better to have a proportional voting system that not the winner take it all. And this is representing also in the structure of the whole government, but in the voting system is really important. So we in Switzerland we always look for that is in the parliament. That's first. We're not looking for ourselves, we look for the party, and then for ourselves. So, and then it's also that the weaker party, small party, have a seat. When we not have this, then only the big party will win. And so also the smaller party have a chance to win, and this is very important to know. So majority voting would be the winner take all.
But why do you think that's far more popular, the winner takes all? Why do you think it's more prevalent, more common in so many countries in the world?
It's easier. I would say it's easier, and I mean it's somehow. Let's say when you go for a president, you cannot have a proportional voting because there is only one seat. It's of course the president have to take all, also the winner take all. So it's also not, you cannot apply this to everything, but in a parliament, to vote for the parliaments, it's good that you have this, that it represented also the smaller parties and not just the strong ones. Yeah, so when we have now in the parliament the representative of the people, then we vote with majority voting, but when it's for the Senate, also for the other chamber, then we vote for majority. Because you have only two, so then it makes no sense to do that. Good. So constitutional state, so we have a state, but we have also laws over the state. So just to know what is this? I know the constitutional state is, what is a constitutional state? It has a constitution and has human rights. And it's also functioning. It's a functional system. It's not just that you have it, the system is functional. So when they say to a country that's a constitutional state, then Holland would fit in that. I don't know what you think. But according to the news, and so Europe, the European nations and the EU, it's a constitutional state. So when it's called to let's say, when we take Albania or things who are not in the EU, then yeah, because the system is not working there. And we have even in, let's say, Hungary or so, where there is a conflict. And I never know, is it because the president would not fit in the constitutional state? But is it really true or not? I don't know. It's just that say what they say. Yes.
Yeah. Constitutional state, does it mean it has like a ground law where all the decisions and all the laws, they have to agree with the constitution? They cannot go outside the law or make decision, because the constitution is like the human rights. It's like the basic law where all the other laws have to be under.
Yeah,
it's
it's
actually
more
above the government, like, because they have to
I say it
operate within the lines of the constitution.
No, it's just, this is looking just the state itself. It's not so international. But does a state have a constitution?
Yeah.
And does a state have human rights? And do you have a right as a people to go to the court and appeal to the human rights? Is this functioning or is this not? This is the question.
I think we have a constitution, but what's been happening lately is that they just operate outside. They just
the problem,
make decisions
the
which
problem
are not
is,
in agreement.
the problem with that is also, when you want to go before the court, then you need a lot of money. And there's another problem, or the thing is that most of people cannot afford that anyway, go or appeal to a court, because they don't have the resources for doing that. And in the end, is it really functioning as functional system? I mean, we have a lot of problems. But the idea, when you heard the constitutional state, then Arabia would not fit in that, because they would not have these human rights, or the same human rights that would, and when probably Nigeria would not fit in that, because the system is not working. They have the human rights, but the system is not working, and the state is misusing.
Even if you go to court, I know in Netherlands there is some groups that did crowdfunding, and they appeal, like they went to court, like that some things are not right in the law, but also the judges, I mean, they are paid by the state, so they are not judging fair, I think.
They should.
So yeah.
Yes, they should.
I mean, where money is involved is always a problem. But I think the money, so in Switzerland, so some will say that Switzerland will not pay the parliamentarians enough, because everybody should not be in the parliament because of the money. And I think that's also when you pay too much to the parliamentarians and also to the judges, and so it's really, money is always a problem everywhere.
I mean, and other ways to manipulate people and to
That's good. Yeah, so you see, we have a lot of
going on. Yeah.
So the last one is this one, the international laws. So we have international laws, also the UN Charter. You heard about the UN Charter?
Charter?
The UN is the United Nations, and they have a charter, and we all, even America, signed it. And in this UN Charter, there are 193 nations represented. And if you pay the fee, then you can be in the parliament of the UN. but a lot do not pay it and sit anyway in the parliament. But the UN Charter, we will then come to that. Then the WHO. Do you know what the Health Organization? This is also from the UN, but this, especially now with the corona, and we heard a lot about that they give the regulation and the whole world look to these regulations. So the Human Rights Council, that's also from the UN, or the Human Rights Declaration. And when there is a conflict, then this would be the council to address the human rights. They take care of the human rights. This is also the WHO and the Human Rights Council, like both headquarters in Geneva. Yeah, both of them. Then the WTO, do you know what it is? Yeah, that's the World Trade Organization, is also located in Geneva, the headquarters. Yeah, and what do they do?
Control the economy.
Yeah, no, they give regulations, or also you can appeal to them when you feel that China put too much taxes on your product or something like that. But actually, it disappear a bit in the moment. It's not more so a fancy organization, I would say. Then the Geneva Convention is one.
War, right?
The convention is for taking care of the people who are in the war, who are affected in the war.
Exactly. I mean, this was from Henri Dunant. The book came from the Battle of Solferino, and then it became the Red Cross. So, and this convention, first of all, not a lot of nations signed it, but now today, 143 nations, I think, signed this contract. And this contract have a regulation so that you not can do this and that. Also, let's say the refugees, so very important what is right for refugees, what is not, and so on. And then European Union, EU, of course, here in Europe, that's not important for Africa or India. But the idea is very strong. It's actually, it's not a state, but it's a collaboration of the states, and they have a lot of regulations, and they debate about, an army. They want to have an army, an executive. So, I mean, it's coming more and more to a state with all the things. They actually have a court, the international, the European court, and so Switzerland always debate, do we have to obey that, or can people from Switzerland appeal to them, and so on. But there are many other laws, but so a few of them we heard in the news and are really impacting us. And there is always what is stronger, national law or then these global laws. Yeah, okay. So I just want to, why I do not have this UN. So do you know the UN, the laws of the UN? What is in the law and in this charter? Right? Do you have any idea what could be there?
One about like everybody has equal right to like shelter, food, and water, and
no, yeah, I mean that's more the yeah, but I cannot find it. Where do I put? Sorry, but somebody can probably find it online.
The Charter of United Nations is founding document of the United Nations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it should be in my presentation, but it somehow disappeared. But actually, the main of the UN, the main goal is world peace. Peace for the world. No, why? Don't think too far. It's world peace. And so they make sure that every country is sovereign, so that not one country can take another one. So like now in the Ukraine, Russia is taking Ukraine. It's again the UN Charter. And now you heard that Putin is now, now he's, do you hear that? What did they do with Putin?
It's the common media.
Yeah, but
Do we
Putin,
believe it?
yeah, do we believe? But no, I mean, the UN did now, not the UN, but the International Court.
Didn't they like convict him or something like
Yeah,
that?
convict him, and so he has now a bill on his shoulder, or let's say.
Technically, he can't leave Russia.
Also, technically, when he leaves Russia, he will be arrested and put in prison. So that's that. That's international, and all the states should. I think all the states would belong to the UN. That all the states who should follow that. So we should arrest Putin when he is in our hand. When he's in your hand, and take him.
Yeah.
He now the China visited him. Xi visited Putin last week or this week.
Who's that?
The president of China visited Putin.
In Russia.
Or is it already when he invited him for China? And I think he invited him because he wanted to put him in prison.
I don't think so.
You don't think? I don't know. But this would be actually the international law, that when he is coming to China, that they will arrest him. But of course, China will not do that. I don't think that they will do it. But we see that, I mean, it's always a bit the question, how strong are these international laws? Do people really follow it or do not? I mean, it's a big thing. But this is politics. And I think as well, like Benjamin Levy, who was last week with us, who worked then in the UN, and so we as Christians should also be there. And I mean, to find this peace agreement with Ukraine, and so when nobody is there, so and we leave it to the secular world, then of course we don't have to wonder that there is not a good solution. So we also have to be there and stand there and take our position. Good. So please give me feedback of what you learned today. So what was the most important thing for you? And I think we have time. Simon, do you want to come and moderate that a bit?
Yeah, thank you, Markus. So let's take a time for questions or comments from online. Maybe you can share. You can start. Malawi, India, Kochi, and even on. Do you have something to say? Hello. We can hear you. Who's that? From Malawi?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is Malawi. I was already here. I gave a highlight on what I picked in the morning. Now I'll deliver what I have picked from the second session. We have talked about the political systems, that there are different types of political systems. We have got monarchy, and in monarchy there is absolute monarchy, constitutional monarchy, and the parliamentarian monarchy. And this is about the monarchy. Now, we also have got the political systems of a republic. We have presidential republic like that of the US. Then we have got the semi-presidential republic like that of France. Then we've got parliamentarian republic like that of Germany. I believe, from what I've understood, that parliamentarian republic is where the legislature, the members of parliament, they're the ones who are involved in the appointment of the president, something like that. Now, in Switzerland, you have direct democracy. Apparently, the people have got more power than all other offices. Of course, it is also divided into three arms: the executive, the legislature, and the judicial. Then there is also voting systems. We've got the minority voting and proportional voting. My understanding on minority, if I'm supposed to be corrected, is that there are some, like here in Malawi, we've got certain parties which cannot have access to decision making in the parliament, because we have got a democratic system where we depend upon the largest number of the votes. So in which case, looking at the minority voting, it appears like it tries to give some power, some privilege to the minority. In short, representation of the minority. Then there is a constitutional state. Of course, someone was explaining about it, that it has got a constitution and is a functional system. Now, I should believe that Malawi is also a constitutional state in a way, because at all costs, when there are issues like what an issue with the elections last time, we had to consult the constitution to determine the way forward, and we had to rerun the votes in this country. So I should believe that that is we are also in a constitutional state. Lastly, but also very important, we looked at international laws. International laws which are global. We had the UN Charter, the World Health Organization, Human Rights Council, World Trade Organization, which deals with disparities regarding international trade. Then we also have got the Geneva Convention, which is housed in Switzerland there. Then you also have got the European Union. These institutions govern law at a larger scale, like comprising regions, or even the whole world, like the United Nations itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I forgot to say there is a third option. We have a functional, constitutional, corrupt nation. That would be also probably fit better to Malawi. Or what do you say? It was a joke. It was a joke. But actually, I know I was so many times in Malawi. I know the problem. Corruption is a huge problem, and everybody knows it. It's not a hidden thing.
Wow, thank you, Malawi. From India? Yeah, maybe I can give one question, so you can think about it. We will take 5 minutes, then you can share. So, can you find Christian values in your country democracy? The second one is the churches talking about political and democracy? So I give the two questions, just you can think about it as a group. You can make a small group, 3 or 4 people, then you can discuss about the questions, then you can come back. Okay, you can take 5 minutes. Is it clear online?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, super.
Sorry, we didn't get the question. What was the question?
Yeah, can you find Christian values in your country democracy? Yeah?
All right, thank you.
The second one is that the churches are talking about political and democracy.
All right.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, maybe here also you can make some, you can discuss with your neighbors.
Yes.
And are you supported at the church? Not at the base, but in your own town with your parents?
Yeah, a bit, but I mean, since I live now here, I mean, it's 2
This is your
hours.
church.
So, I mean, I go, but I don't have a kind of I'm not helping so much, just a little bit anymore. I'm not that involved as I was before because now I don't go every week home.
Okay, let's come back. We don't have enough time. So we can. So what did you discuss in your group? Do you want to share from here, Wheeler?
I mean, we just shared that. I mean, in general, in churches, we kind of almost never hear about politics or
Yeah.
really practical things. It's all about the spiritual things.
Yeah. Mostly spiritual things.
Yeah, almost in all the churches. I think I've never been to a church where
Yeah,
preaching was about, I don't know, whatever.
In India also, like as a pastor, we don't talk about political in our church. So we are completely isolated from the world. Like it's like that political, that thing's like a worldly thing. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah,
How can we change that?
yeah, that's why we are here.
Yeah, it's a
We
good
will go
answer.
back, we will change something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Change, you can only change in little things.
True. Your own area.
Yeah. Anything more?